What is up, people? Hope you're all doing well. Today we're doing Blabber Bunch without Runner. He's in the trenches fighting evil. However, everybody welcome our special guest, Nick.
Hello.
For everyone that doesn't know, Nick was over 3 months ago, all the way from the US of A. And we actually went to the very first Comic-Con in Germany.
Oh, yes.
That was great. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Nick's like,
Sure. I was leaning forward to rub dust off of my laptop desk thing.
oh.
Well, Nick, how did you like Comic-Con? How did you like Germany?
It's interesting. It's actually the first time I've ever been to any kind of convention like that. The closest I've ever come to that is right before Smash for Wii U, or actually a few months before Smash for Wii U released. They were doing that event at Best Buy's where you could go and play it early, and me and two of my friends, Martin from Germany was actually over at the time, and we all we drove an hour and a half, and it ended up being 2 hours because I missed the exit twice, and we stood in line at Best Buy for 2 hours to play 2 rounds of Smash with, it was the three of us and a fourth guy, and it was really fun. That's the closest I've ever come to anything like it. And Germany's the first time I've been out of the country since I was 2, and I don't think just stepping on the Canada side of Niagara Falls counts. So I've never really flown commercial before, and it was a weird experience because I'm very much a homebody. I was that really spoiled child that that go over to their friend's house when they're 6, and by 10 they wanted to go home, and they were done. So like it was interesting because here I am, 24. We spent a lot of time crying in the Savannah airport, and then I got on the plane, and I flew 2 hours to Chicago, and I got to my gate, and I had an hour and a half wait for my next flight, and it started settling in. This is going to be a long trip. Now, because originally I was going to be there for 5 weeks, through Christmas, first time I wouldn't be home for Christmas. And I get on the plane from Chicago to Frankfurt, and I'm in the very back, like literally I'm sitting on par with, I can look over and I can see the door to the bathroom at the very back of the plane, and if I look around the corner I can see the kitchen. So I'm like, it was a rough takeoff, it was a rough landing. When I landed at that point I had been up for roughly 18 hours, and it was 9 in the morning local.
Oh god.
I'm like, oh boy. I get off the plane, I get hooked up to internet, and Martin is in traffic. I'm like, God, this day is never going to end. It 4 hours later, we're finally back at his place. I'm settled in. We go up throughout our day, just setting stuff up and stuff. And it gets like 6 o'clock, and I'm like, I've been up for a long time. I should try and sleep. Cannot sleep. I don't think I got to sleep until 6 o'clock the next morning, actually.
Oh my god.
And that's what I think. That's where the trip really started falling apart, because I just could not get any sleep. We went and we got some, we bought sleeping pills, and it was funny because the pharmacist only knew 3 words in English. She knew hangover, period, and jet lag. I'm like, well, we know what English tourists get while they're in Germany.
How did you know that? Did she ask if you were having your period? And if
Yeah,
you
she
needed medication for your or something?
Martin was communicating with her, and she goes, hangover, no, period, no, jet lag. I'm like, oh god.
You almost got something for your period, right?
I'm like, you know what? I got a headache. Give me the Midol. It's just fine. It's the best pain medicine in the world. But so we went through that first week, and 2 days in, I'm like, this isn't happening for 5 weeks. I'm already talking to my travel agent. I'm like, look, I'm gonna need to be packed before Christmas. And she's like, I understand. And she kept yelling. She kept going, I understand. Go see Christmas markets. I'm like, okay, we'll go see the Christmas markets. Can you get me the tickets back? Yeah, but you really need to see the Christmas markets. I'm like, honey, calm down. So then we come up that weekend over to y'all's place, and that was honestly really the highlight of the trip. That was a really fun weekend. The Smash Friday night, and like I said, that's the first time I've been to any kind of convention, and I it's funny. I vividly remember we stopped by that little mall place for breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm the only one in fur. So I was just sitting there eating my little raisin bread in fur.
And everyone was completely accepting as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
nobody
people were
cared,
looking,
yeah.
but like people just look a little bit, but that's it. They're all right. It's
Yeah,
a guy in fur.
That's something I noticed. Like, there's just a lot of Germany is just content to just stay in their own little box.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, they
it's
probably
like,
just
all
thought you came from Norway or something.
Yes.
something. It was that time of year. I was Krampus.
You were.
Yeah, Krampus.
They were just thinking like, we got refugees from all over the world. It doesn't matter at this point anyway. But oh my god, yeah, the little bit of Smash we did there Friday night. That was really interesting
That
because
was
it was the continuation of the tournament that I did last summer. Oh god, what a summer that was with that tournament. That was so much work, and we were the last people to fight, and it was definitely the highlight of the entire thing, I think. And our fight was actually like our fight in December was actually kind of similar, but like in a different way. Like we had no lag, and it was, guys, I didn't know that Smash can be so much fun without lag. it was fantastic. It was really fast and it was really great and everything. But something I noticed about your playstyle was that you get going, like you start right away and you keep like hammering, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm just trying to get away, or like trying to like, you know where I am, I suppose. But because I'm like avoiding you and everything, I tire you out.
Exactly. If I don't seal it in 5 minutes, it's over. My hands just stop working.
And once you realize that, you must be an asshole to abuse that. So what did I do? I abused it.
That's what we do. Like when we have them, when we play around here, there's usually 4 or 5 people, and so we'll play Giant Smash. And like I've settled into Shulk. My friend Matt, he plays Link hardcore. His wife Selby is really into DDD. Oh god, her DDD. She never wins, but she's always got at least 7 KOs every time. Our other roommate Brandon he likes the spammy ranged characters like Robin and Palutena and Zelda, and he's a dick. And then our friend Dustin is just ridiculous with Lucas. Like when he picks up Lucas, or when he picks up his custom villager with the trippy tree, the fucking trippy tree. Oh my god, that's when everyone's on their mains. The shit is real. But and I think one of my favorite stories is one of our things to do is we'll play all randoms, and one day Selby got lucky and she got DDD, and Brandon got Ness. We told him when we were trying. I had gotten someone projectile, and a lot of people were projectiles. We were like, Brandon, you're down B, you absorb projectiles. You can heal yourself if you're down B. And and Brandon yells, Selby, heal me, and we all stop because we know what's coming. She sprints over to him with her hammer. She hit him so hard that he died and respawned before the sound effects had finished playing. Like, she put the hammer down, and he's already coming back down by the time you hear the and the explosion off the side. He's already respawned, and we all had to stop for a minute. The controllers are down. We are rolling in the floor.
He's like the dad from Prince and the Frog, who's like, "What just happened?" Exactly.
So now that's a thing. We'll Brandon will do something. Tommy will go, Selby, heal me.
I really miss playing this game. I haven't had the chance again, but I haven't had the chance to play as Bayonetta or Corrin or Cloud.
I've played some Cloud. Cloud's actually pretty fun. He's like a faster Ike. He's somewhere between Ike and Link as far as, speed goes. And his specials are interesting because it does the limit gauge thing. And when
I want the Cloud. I really want the Cloud amiibo.
I do too. But yeah, he's pretty fun. I picked him up fairly easily. And then we've got Bayonetta, but I did not play her the night we picked her up. We had a friend over and we did I did Cloud, and we all did like some of the new ones. Like I was Cloud. Matt played Mewtwo. We just did like some of the download characters, and then after that we just threw it out the window and went hardcore again. So I haven't really messed around with Bayonetta, and at the time I didn't have Fates yet, so I had no interest in Corn. Now I do because I know the character, and that's the way I figured it was going to work. But just him coming out before the game, I was just like, oh, okay, another Fire Emblem character. Great. We've got 9 of these now. We'll never find any of the amiibos. I've got my Ike. I'm happy.
Is the amiibo situation still pretty crap in America?
It's getting better. I still haven't seen a Marth, but I'm like, I can find villagers online at retail now, US, so, not $8 shipping and having to wait 3 months. I can find villagers, I found some Morios, I found some Wii Fits are trickling back in. Rosalina's under $40 now. That's something that hasn't happened since she came out. We actually found a Lucario in our local game store. It's starting to get better. I think Nintendo's finally adjusting to just how popular these things are. Haven't really looked lately. Like I said, I just moved in and I picked up rent, so money's been a little tight, and I've been trying to stay away because I will spend everything on these things.
Yeah, you could have actually gotten a Marth while you were over here.
I thought about it.
Here.
We've got everything. It's like you walk into stores and they don't know what to do with them. There's entire sections with amiibos, and I don't know. It's pretty crazy and unfair, really, because no one really seems to be picking them up anymore either.
Yeah, well, what they're doing now is they're actually selling the more common ones for a few euros cheaper.
Yeah.
Like we were in MediaMarkt the other day there, and they had like a bunch of amiibos hanging on the wall, like the newer ones and stuff. They were still $14.99.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like this kind of like bargain bin thing with all these other amiibos in it, and there was a big sign saying they were $11.99 or something.
Gotcha. I've got a pretty decent collection, and then my friends collect the Animal Crossing ones. Like they came home with Blathers yesterday, and that made me really happy. And we got Tom Nook, or as he is affectionately known, Fat Fuck. We picked up the little Amiibo Festival thing, and it's fun. I'm on board with everyone else. I wish we had an Animal Crossing for Wii U, but it's fun. It's a fun little thing, and we'll go around. And I usually play Tom Nook, and whenever it's my turn, the both of them just go Fafa.
Yeah, I want to give that a try. Actually, I still haven't played Mario Party for Wii U either.
That one's fun if you've got 5 people. Because if you got 5 people, you can do the Bowser versus the 4 people, and that's when it's really fun. We've had a lot of fun drunk nights like that. Because we'll alternate. For a while we alternated between that and one that came with the
Nintendo Land.
Yes, that one. we did a lot of that too, because that was something we could play with more than 4 people.
Nintendo Land is definitely a lot of fun.
It is. That is the best tech demo that has ever been released.
And you actually showed me, you proved to me that this is still a full-fledged game, really, because I thought it was kind of a demo as well, but you took me through like the entire Metroid levels and everything, like fighting Ridley, and you're going to be fighting Kraid and everything. And
the Pikmin one's really good too if you haven't played it. That's all. Like for a while, that was Pikmin 3. I mean, it's pretty fleshed out for all things considered.
Yeah, you can basically play like co-op or like against each other, and it feels like they're 2 completely different games. That's right.
The Metroid one's really fun. That one, I love that one. That one's really fun.
Yeah, that was great fun, definitely.
Yeah, I love Luigi's Mansion.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
It's a good party game.
I find that sometimes I enjoy minigames much more than anything else.
Yeah, they're to the point,
Well, for example, I mean, in Mario Party Island, you've got the minigame where you have to like use your voice and try and imitate the characters and stuff.
Choice's voice, yes.
Funny. It's so funny.
That's the best, definitely.
Have y'all watched like Vinny's highlights of him?
I was about to say Vinny's thing. Oh my god, when he does Peach, right? He's like Peach. Oh my god, I'm my pants.
Or anytime he's trying to do Boo.
How do you even do Boo? That's not made for humans.
And they just always end in him scream laughing because he knows he's doing this in front of like 2,000-3,000 people live.
You know, Redeemer's actually really good at imitating voices.
I'm garbage at it. I'm absolutely. I can do Hank Hill, and if I'm really feeling it, Boomhauer. That is my. That's only because they're like my people.
Yeah, that's good enough. All I can do is. Yeah, that's it. Actually, I can't do shit really.
No, you do. No, actually, Red 5 does a fine Mickey Mouse.
What?
Do your Mickey Mouse laugh.
I've never done it.
You have done it.
What, Mickey Mouse laugh?
Oh my god, it was. Yeah, you did Mickey Mouse laugh. It's good.
Wait, how does he laugh again? Hold on. Uh-huh?
Oh god, yeah, that one.
He's been better than that.
Oh.
He hasn't done it. He's rusty.
I'm rusty. It's really it's terrible when you're a big Toad fan and you can't do Toad's voice, but Redeemer can. and when we have to record ourselves like just little shenanigans and everything, she has to be Toad, and I hate that. Oh well, yeah, that's what we do when we're bored.
Good.
All right. Oh well, okay. Anyway, let's get this show going. Actually, we're at 17 minutes already, and we're just like,
we got like up to Comic-Con, and then we started talking about Smash.
Then actually, let's talk about Comic-Con just a little bit more as well, because I thought it was really interesting. Because I didn't quite know what to expect, and when I go to conventions and stuff like that, or I don't really go to conventions a whole lot, but when I go to a place with like different things going on, like events and stuff like that, I usually try not to look up what they have to offer when I know I'm going there anyway, so the surprise is just much bigger. And I did not know what to expect going into Comic-Con. Did you have any expectations?
Not really. You know, I've seen like highlight videos of other Comic-Cons, and I'm like, alright, there might be a panel or two, or I'm kind of just really going to see what booths are set up, and you know, all of the people in ridiculous cosplay. There was so much League. There was so much League cosplay.
That's right.
And that made Martin happy, because he was like, I don't watch a lot of animes and stuff like that, and you know, a lot of popular games, so I don't know if I'm going to know any of the things, and he's just rattling off champions, and I'm like, good God, Martin, I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah, that's definitely a game we play as well when we're like at Gamescom. I'm always like, Redeemer, who's that supposed to be? What's that? And what is that? It's just always like trying to figure out.
I know.
Well, sometimes you know.
Sometimes I know.
I saw a lot of diverse stuff. Like we saw the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I did not expect that. I think we saw a Squidward. Did we see a Squidward? I want to say I remember a Squidward.
I think it was like a Squidward influenced thing. Like he wasn't wearing like anything on his face, but he was dressed like him.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just a normal guy.
He might have been. And then like I saw Dipper and Mabel, and then we saw the Council of Ricks, and the Big Daddy was cool. Just a lot of different stuff. I wasn't expecting that much. I don't know why, but I guess I really wasn't expecting that much. So many Jokers. There were so many Jokers, and of course the obligatory 40 Deadpools.
Yeah, sure. You know, cosplay aside, the first German Comic-Con wasn't actually that good.
Nah, it was kind of a big flea market, which I was okay with. It was the retro booth was fun.
Yeah, but you don't go there to like buy stuff. Like, yeah, you go there to see what they have on show and everything, and you take money with you because you know they have a shop and they have merchandise, and you'll get stuff there that you won't get anywhere else. Yeah, cool. We already have Gamescom for that anyway, and we also have Japan Day and Dokumi and stuff like that, and they all sell pretty much the same things. Yeah, it was one big merchandise market, and there was barely anything to do with comics, games, or celebrities or anything. Like, we had the few celebrities from Game of Thrones and like other TV shows and stuff, but they were all barricaded behind these huge ass walls, and you couldn't see them. All there was a poster saying, "This person is here, please wait in line," and the line was like 200 people long.
Yeah.
You didn't see anything else.
There was the ones at the back too. Like there wasn't really much of a line for Draco's dad, Lucius Malfoy, or Ginny's mom, or Crumb. I remember seeing those three.
You know, maybe they weren't even there. Like they were just thinking, no one's gonna bother to check. Everybody's gonna put their names there. I agree with you, definitely, but I think it's more about just the experience as well. You know, I was in really good company, and I think that's what really makes it great, you know, experiencing everything together and just being around people and being around, like, people that are kind of like you, that have the same interests, and just having a nice time like that. I mean, if you are seriously interested in learning about new things that are gonna come out, you're gonna use the internet anyway. You know, you're not gonna go out of your way to go to a convention to like look at trailers that you can look at your computer or something like that. You know.
Yeah.
So for what it was, I thought it was great. You know, but it was also the very first Comic-Con. More will come, I'm pretty sure. I mean, they had that really amazing thing when that was in San Diego, obviously. When they were gonna show the teaser trailer for Godzilla 2014, so I think that was 2012 or 13, and they had this amazing kind of like almost like a set or like this experience tour you go through, and you have the original suits from some of the Toho movies and other things, and it was just like this experience, you know, like almost a ride. We're not there yet, but I'm pretty sure in a couple of years we're gonna have something similar.
Yeah, well, what I think half the problem was probably that they couldn't even get the celebrities they wanted there, because Comic-Con in America is one thing, a lot of celebrities live there and it's not that far away, but asking them to go all the way to Germany for the first Comic-Con, which probably won't even be that successful anyway, it's a bit of a, you know.
Yeah.
But hopefully they got enough interest in it that they'll be able to, you know, play it up over the next few years. And it's like, hey, we had so and so many people show up, and you know, we're expecting at least that many again next year, and you know, it would be probably even more if we could sign so and so on, and that kind of thing.
And maybe funding was an issue, actually, funding in itself.
True, because I mean, like you said, like it's a step out in faith, because there's already like you said, there's already Gamescom in the area, so it's like, how much more can we do in this area? How much more are we going to get people to spend to go to these kind of things in this area? Because that is a big deal, you know. We nerds will apparently fly across oceans to do things like this, but but I mean, you're gonna get enough. There's always that. Like I live in South Georgia, and we'll convene here and there. Like I saw twice as many people as I expected to at that thing in Augusta where we played Smash, but at the same time it was still only like 60, 70 people because of the area, and that's why you know, Dragon Con is further north, we're in the capital instead of further out here. You know, it's you know, you got to find some kind of central location, and I guess they were testing to see because is Gamescom further north, or is it in the same arena, or what?
No, it's actually in Cologne. That's like 2 hours away from here.
So yeah, it was probably a test for that location. You know, can we get enough people to come here instead of there?
Yeah, see, like, I'm actually really... imagine Comic-Con in Cologne. The problem is that leasing and, like, renting and, like, just having events and everything is incredibly expensive in that area.
Oh, yeah.
Comic-Con Germany was in Dortmund, which is also not very cheap, but it's definitely not something like Cologne. So I think maybe we lucked out that way.
Yeah. Because tickets really weren't that expensive, I think, especially for a weekend pass.
Yeah.
I know around here that it would have been like, for any of the U.S. Comic-Cons, they would have been like 70, 75 for a day, and then like over 100 for a weekend, easy.
Yeah, well, we still had to pay. I mean, I wouldn't have high expectations for a convention that wanted fucking €8 for parking anyway.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember the horror in Martin's voice when you saw that?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy though.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like, I also felt, I was like, oh my god, like, inhumane.
Well,
I know, props to him for chauffeuring us around that weekend.
Oh, it was great. I was really happy to meet him.
It was great to like be this group that you're gonna do everything with, you know.
And honestly, that's the happiest I've ever seen him in a crowd. So I enjoyed that. He's like me. If there's like more than 7 people, we're like, nope.
I said before, it's the people, and they're like-minded people, and you just feel comfortable around people that are similar to you. Are you okay? Are you okay, Redeemer? Choking again here on toast.
I'm choking on toast. How does one choke on toast? I don't know.
Very carefully.
I'm very carefully choking on my toast.
Do you have anything to drink?
Okay, well, anyway, I guess topic change right there before you choke some more. Right, you were going to talk about Fire Emblem.
Well, first of all, have either of y'all ever played any of them? At all?
Well, we don't really know a whole lot about Fire Emblem. Like, I only played the GameCube version a little bit, and that Game Boy Advance game with the character Lyn.
Right.
But apart from that, we don't know a whole lot. I mean, the thing is, like, we hear a little bit about like censorship and the problem from like about the games coming to the West being altered and stuff like that. But apart from that, we don't know a whole lot. No.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go through a little bit of You said you played the GameCube, and that was my first one too. And that's kind of the classic Fire Emblem experience for me. You've got a story, you go chapter to chapter. Between each chapter, you buy things, you equip your units, stuff like that. And the only way you could really, based on how you performed in the chapters, you earn bonus experience that you can dole out to your troops. And in those games, you kind of had to pick a core of 10, 15 people and stick with them throughout the whole game. I don't care how nice this new guy looks, you are not going to be able to spread yourself that thin. Awakening came out, which was the first one for the 3DS with Chrom, and it gave you the player character who was wonderfully overpowered. And it introduced letting you grind. As you opened up new places on the map, sometimes generic enemies would pop up on some of the old maps, and you could grind through them. Or like when you street passed, you could fight other people's teams, and you could just spend a lot of time building up your units. And the game kind of expected you to, because the difficulty curve was much greater as time went on. And then they let you, like, you can do support between units, and that makes them perform better in battle. And then Awakening, you could do support between units, and they would get married and have children, and those children would be like, they would gain their parents' skills and stuff like that, and generally be terrors on the battlefield. And it just turned into this huge thing of, all right, what are the best marriages for badass children? Who do I marry my character to for maximum enemy fuckery? And everyone got really into that, and apparently Japan was like, all right, they're really into the shipping. Let's give them something with that. And Fates comes out, and once you're married to your wife, you bond with her at home. And after you bond with her a certain amount of time, sometimes you come home and she's asleep, and the game wants you to rub her face and wake her up. And
wow.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's an interesting little thing. We're waifuing pretty hard here, but okay. So then I get to the next level. Yeah, it gets worse. I get to the next level of bond, and I walk in, and my wife says, "I'll never get used to the hot baths here." And it does the thing where it's like blow away the steam, and I'm like, okay, this game wants me to blow my wife. What is going on?
Imagine if you were playing as a female and this game wants you to blow your husband.
I know, right? And it's like, so I'm like, I was sitting in the room with them, and I'm like, look what this game wants me to do, and I did it, and then it came up again, and I was in the room with them, and you're around other people, you can't just start hardcore blowing your DS, and I didn't do it good enough. So I get the message. Blow a little harder next time.
Oh my god!
I quit. I'm never bonding with my wife again.
You did not satisfy your waifu. I hate to break it to you.
Forget your wife. Doesn't matter, man.
She didn't seem all that bothered about it. She's still blushing and smiling, and the game's like, you failed. You were inadequate. Go kill yourself. I'm like, okay. So that's a thing, and I don't. It's weird. It's bizarre. It has no real place in Nintendo's flagship strategy game. But it is what it is, and the parts of the game that are good are still there. They are. They're in full force, really. I'm more happy with this one than I am with Awakening. As an Awakening, you could pair units up, and that always felt cheap to me because they became overpowered fucks that way. They would guard for each other, and if they guard, neither of them took any damage, or they'd add on attacks. So like you would attack with a unit, and if they were paired up with someone and their support was high enough, and the other unit was skilled enough, they would attack, the other unit would attack, and the enemy couldn't do that. So that was your way of kind of getting around harder chapters, and I'm like, oh, okay. In Fates, if you pair them up, they guard for each other, period. If the enemies can pair up by being next to each other, they won't ever actually pair up with each other, like be on the same tile like you can. But if they're next to each other and one enemy attacks, the other enemy will add on an attack. If you're paired up, that add-on attack never comes through. If you're standing next to each other, that's when your characters do the add-on attacks. So it's like it adds a little bit of strategy there between, you know, do I want to pair them up instead of just pair them up? Absolutely pair them up. If you're not pairing them up, you're not playing the game right. Pair them up. Now it gives you, you know, options for either way, because I'm like, why aren't my units ever adding on attacks like they used to? And I finally split 2 of them up. And they won't guard for each other anymore, so your unit still has to take both of those attacks if there's 2 other units attacking. But you get the add-on retaliation, and that's something that's interesting. And but I did it 2 ways. That you got the birthright path, which lets you do the grinding on the side, and then you got the conquest path, which does not. And then there's going to be a 3rd one, and I don't know what that's going to be. It's not out yet. It'll be out in 2 weeks, I think. Because the story of it requires you playing the other 2 first to understand what's going on, and it's apparently supposed to wrap everything up. And they didn't want anybody playing that first because people are stupid enough to do that. And it's an odd entry, but it's still Fire Emblem, and that's what I was concerned about the most when I heard a lot of the waifu touching and things like that.
Oh god, you know, I found that so funny that when you were telling your story, I can just picture you sitting in your living room, and for some reason I'm picturing you in your Viking costume that you wore.
Gee, I wonder why.
And you're sitting there in your big fluffy Viking costume, and you know that, you know, you've got steam on the screen, and you know that behind that steam is most likely a really, you know, quite a sexy, itchy image, and you're sitting in your living room, and you don't want anyone to know what you're doing, and you kind of look around, and you're just like... Yes, I know. And it's like, and you don't want to draw suspicion to yourself. You're just sort of like, and oh god, I don't know. Oh
and you got it almost done. You're like, one more blow, and you're wondering if you should do that one more blow.
And like it's never really all that graphic or anything, and they won't respond to like, because of course my. Selby's first thing was like she was talking to one of the girls she was interested in, and she pulled it out and she's like, I want to touch the boobs, and that doesn't elicit any response. You can do it if you're weird, but you know, it's just like rubbing the TV when there are boobs. It's not going to actually accomplish anything. And what makes it even weirder is I tend to attach to characters immediately and go with that character. And I actually your character is royalty, and I married my character's handmaiden. Because she's adorable. And so she's always in the maid outfit.
Yeah.
But she would kick ass. She used like throwing knives and then like ninja stars, and like I spent some time with her, and she kicks ass. So, you know, that goes both ways. And eventually I changed her class and gave her a lance and told her to go fuck people up. And she does. So at least she's not, you know, complete, you know, awful protect the waifu character. The waifu will fuck you up.
After Pokemon X and Y, we got the Pokemon and me now in Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. And I wonder what other franchise could benefit from this function. Let me think about that. It would be great to have that in Metroid. Do you think, like, petting your Metroid pets?
Actually, you put it that way. I wouldn't mind being able to just like fuck around with like the monkeys and whatever they called the ostrich things. That would, you know, as a side thing. I don't need a game of this, for fuck's sake.
Wait, the ostrich things? You're not talking about the Chozo, are you?
No. The ones that teach you how to shine spark in Super Metroid.
Oh, the ones that you have to free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, okay. The ostrich is Chozo.
It starts with an E. It's like Ishuns or something like that, and I wasn't even going to try and remember it.
Petting those would be great. Actually, we're talking about Pokemon there. Mm-hmm. I gotta wonder now. It's the 20th anniversary of Pokemon. I think everyone's celebrating and everything, and we're all the same generation. And we all grew up with the first generation as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering now that's my question. That's my topic. But I'm actually wondering. I don't know. Do you think that Pokemon the series, not the franchise, the series should have ended after the first movie or with the first movie? Nick, what do you think?
I'm not sure. It could have gone either way. It would have been interesting if they if they broke the series up like the games and it wasn't always the same character, you know, like Ash conquered Kanto, good for him.
Yeah.
Here's Ned. He was born in Johto. His name is Ned for some reason, and now he's gonna do the Johto thing, and then he goes to Kanto and goes to the league, and now Ash is basically Red. He's the champion, and you know he's got to fight him in a cave, and then they go, all right, now we're over here in Hoenn with Samuel, and here's Samuel. He's in Hoenn, and he's going to do his thing. And that would have been interesting to me. But I can also
understand. Are you breaking the tradition of 3-lettered names?
Shush you. Actually, they did that. Yeah, well, because they always named them after the games. Like your default name was Gold, and then they broke that with Hoenn as well, because the default name was like Seth and May.
Oh, Seth! Oh my god, I forgot all about that. I just know May because she's really popular, but I totally forgot that he's called Seth.
Because almost no one, honestly, no one ever really did. At least the one that I knew never really did the girl. They like it, you know. They liked her, having her as a rival instead of, you know, like fucking Seth. He's just the player character, and he always looks so bland. Like it feels like you're playing another person when
he is really
when he's hanging around. Yeah, that would have been interesting, but I can also understand, you know, having that continuity so that, you know, when kids get in and out of it and they're back in, they still got Ash, you know. Ash is still here and Brock is still here probably, unless it's Tracy, and then it's weird. And
I want Misty though!
Yeah, there's no Misty though.
I want Misty back!
But this is really weird, I think, because Ash is, like, how long did it take for Ash to like, get a little older? Like, grow up just a little bit.
It took him, like, what, 14 years to turn 11?
Yeah, and you know what? That's fucked up. He turned 10, and he got Pikachu. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't his birthday when he finally got his Pikachu, but it must have been shortly before or something like that.
Or, like, and right by after. Because I remember they were talking about his 10th birthday. They're like, she's like, you're 10 now. You're going to leave and stop mooching off my money. Maybe that's the abridged version.
Okay. At the time the third movie came out, it had that little Pikachu short in the beginning, and they were, spoilers, they were preparing a little party for Pikachu because it was the 1-year anniversary that they actually met. And all I could think about was that, hold on a second, you're remembering that is going forward, but what about Ash's age or anything like that? And they never brought that up.
Like his 11th birthday.
He's not even birthday, it's like, our Pikachu, it's the day we met.
Yeah.
And that pissed me off a little bit. I don't know. It felt like it didn't take itself seriously, and it really just wanted to have an excuse to have a story, you know. Just
well, that was kind of a lot of the shorts. They did like the Peanuts thing where you never saw the trainers' faces. It was always all about the Pokemon, and it was fun. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, we know it's Ash. Just show his fucking face. Did you?
Yeah. I don't...
Like what? Did the budget get cut? We've done too much Pokemon. We can't afford human faces right now, even though Brock's never changes.
That's right. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know why. It's
I think maybe like
choice.
On the day that Ash finally grows up, Brock will finally open his eyes.
Wait, what?
I think he's peeled them open once, or someone has at like one time in the like 20 years that it's been on the air. Someone has pulled open his eyes once.
Do you know? Maybe we're going a little bit deep here, but maybe Brock is actually blind and he loves ground type Pokemon because he can like channel through them through vibrations, and that's how.
That would explain why he likes Zubat as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does he identify pretty girls, though?
He can smell them.
He can smell pretty girls?
Smell pretty girls.
What does he smell? Like, how do they smell different from, like, not so pretty girls?
I can see all of the Jennies and all of the Nurse Joys wearing the same perfume. And that's how he can recognize them. But they all wear it slightly differently, and that's why Brock's the only person that can tell all the Jennies and Joys apart.
That's an actual explanation, by the way. There was that episode. You remember?
Yeah, because it was like when Ash was doing the League in the first season. Brock's like, Cerulean City Joy, hi, it's good to see you. And Ash is like, how the fuck do you know that? I think they wore like different color badges or something. They had like really tiny badges on their collars, and they were slightly different colors. It was something really bizarre like that made Brock even more of a creep. And I'm like, why?
I love Brock. I think Brock is really sometimes the highlight of the show for me.
Oh, I love him. I love him to death. He's still a creep, though. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
He was canonically 16 years old.
Mm-hmm. He's so typical. Like, I'm dealing with hormones.
Puberty.
I don't know. To me, it always seemed like he was much older than that. I always thought he was like in his 20s or something like that.
I know.
I always thought that as well.
He's mature in knowledge, but like then the hormones kick in when there are girls around.
Yeah, but remember, he's like really mature and smarter because he also had to take care of his family.
He was the oldest.
And he was forced to grow up a little bit more than he should have. Oh, Brockfield.
I also remember his voice in German. He sounds actually a lot more calm, a little bit more mature.
Jenny, oh Jenny.
Speaking of voices, have you seen? Okay, y'all have heard of like Detective Pikachu thing, yeah?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the massive amounts of petitions to get Danny DeVito to be the English voice of him?
Yes.
I want it so bad, actually. Like someone took one of the cutscenes and overlaid it with like lines from Always Sunny, and I'm like, I want it now. It has to happen.
Either I'm sorry, but like if Danny DeVito can't do it, then I want Steve Buscemi.
Yes, just someone like that. Just someone. If it's not Danny DeVito, it's got to be someone from like Brooklyn.
Or like who's that guy? Who's that voice actor for the parrot in Aladdin? And he read out that 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh God,
thing,
no,
and then he touched my clitoris.
No,
I want that.
no, Gilbert Gottfried, no.
Yes, him. Yes.
I think Danny would do it too because he did like Phil in Hercules, and he was real fun with that.
Oh,
let him be Pikachu.
Oh God, so he did. Yeah.
That's close enough. That'd be good. I'm really happy about Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's all I wanted to say. Really, I'm just happy about that because we finally got something where it's a little bit like it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very self-aware, but it doesn't like do this like it's our 1-year anniversary of meeting each other. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's a little bit more sophisticated than that.
And then like I like the re-releasing of the classics and the special new 3DS.
Well, that's right in the childhood feels, isn't it? I appreciate that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Like my Matt actually is getting that because he's got a DS, but like I showed up with my Zelda new 3DS and he's like, shit, I gotta start looking for one now. And like Selby got the Fire Emblem one, and he's getting the Pokemon one. It's got like the red and blue faceplates that you can trade out,
right.
And it comes with red and blue pre-installed. And then I think in a few months, or like a week or so afterwards, they're releasing Yellow, which was my first one. So I'll probably pick those up and just relive some Pokemon. And there's also rumors going around that they've already announced the new Pokemons. I can't remember what they're called though. Like
for Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon, that's it.
That's what I wanted to talk about. I saw the Pokemon Direct. And I saw this like teeny tiny announcement, and I was fully expecting and hoping for at least the presentation of the new starters or something. Do you know? I feel like it hasn't even been that long since X and Y came out. No. I just feel like time's passed so quickly. But
it's because of the remakes of Alpha and they felt like kind of the same game, so it feels like X and Y has existed for like 3 solid years and had, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I really want to see the new Pokemon designs because I would like to decide already a bit in advance what one I want, whether I want Sun or whether I want Moon, and I want to know the difference between them. Why are they called that?
Chimchar pissed me off. It's like, I mean, like how many times are we going to do a firefighting starter in a row? Why? That was the one that bothered me, and it's just like, okay, we had a firefighting. What's the new one? It's a monkey. He's firefighting. And I'm like, I get it. People really liked Blaziken. Stop.
Yeah, people really.
And on that
really
same page, I really liked Turtwig because I loved my Torterra. He kicked ass.
I think Blaziken's really creepy. Bless you.
Bless you.
Wow.
Excuse me. No, I usually start with my starters have been either Charmander or, like usually fire types. Except from Froakie. Froakie, I love Froakie. I love his evolutions.
Yeah,
I love
me
my
too.
Greninja. Like he's my best buddy.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna go for Chespin, but when I saw his evolutions, I was like, nah, nah, bro, I'm gonna go for Naruto.
Man, you'd be a terrible Pokemon.
Naruto.
Nah.
You'd be like,
Good.
In real life, it would be different.
what are they gonna feed you if you evolve into something pretty?
I actually did Chespin, and then like aesthetically, his evolutions are, like you said, they're not that impressive. But again, Chespin kicks ass.
Yeah, he does. He's
he
powerful.
does.
That is the thing. He's powerful. Like, what do you care more about, Red 5? Looks or performance?
Well, but I mean, at the same time, you've got to consider that I also kind of ditched all of my Pokemon once I got Gardevoir and Mega Gardevoir Stone. So, because her description is badass.
When you're playing Pokemon, do you ever put your starter away and like never use him again, or do you take?
No,
him
I
to
still
your
had him around. I just he wasn't up front anymore. I usually Gardevoir was, or I think I really fell in love with Aegislash. That was a fun one. Just fucking sword. Hello, I am a sword. I am here to kill you.
Right.
But yeah, I've seen people that are kind of like they build a really really strong team and then they take their starter and put them in the box in the computer, and I'm always like, I
couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Have you seen the thing where you actually can't release your starter? They will come back. Like if you try to release them, like they're like, all right, they're gone. Oh wait, what's this? Oh, so and so loves you so much that he doesn't want to leave, and I'm like, oh god.
Oh my god! See, that's it. Oh my god, Pokemon. Jesus
I know.
Christ.
I'm like, you can't. No, stop. I'm not supposed to feel.
God, remember that episode where Ash tried to release Pikachu in the world? I think
Yes.
everybody cried at that.
I
was sitting
did.
there
Like
like,
the entire song.
I know I was fine until the goddamn montage.
Oh.
I remember watching that for the first time. I had a friend over who I didn't really like, but our moms were friends, so it was convenient. And we were in the middle of a fight, and we were watching that, and we both started crying.
Oh.
We were like
Oh,
six. We were like six, so but
Did you hug afterwards?
no.
Oh.
We just cried for a
Punch
while,
him in
and
the face.
our parents came and they're like, "Oh, they're crying," and then we looked at each other, and he punched me and left.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't like Aaron, Mom. He's mean. I was that kid.
Oh.
You fucking.
but that episode, man, that episode is soul crusher, I swear to
Well,
God.
what about the one where they're almost freezing to death?
Yeah, that one too,
Oh,
because
God.
I was like, that music, and he was like, okay, we'll be called together, and I was sitting there like,
That whole time, I'm like, you have a lizard that is literally on fire.
yeah, but he was dying, remember? Like, his flame was going out. Jeez, Nick.
They didn't try hard enough, stupid 10-year-old. And it's like, this is why I'm like, these kids are 10. Why the hell are they in the mountains?
To become a man.
Yeah, and then he was finally a man after that, sure.
Yeah, okay. He's finally 11 now. It only took 14 years.
He's finally 11.
I think him and Pikachu have had like 3 separate anniversaries. He was still 10. It's not the way time works.
It's a little weird because I feel like I wanted to feel with I wanted to relate to Ash as well as time went on. I felt like it would be really cool if he has to stick around, then make him older as well, make him grow like we do, and it's gonna be like a Toy Story kind of thing. How like Andy gets older as well with each installment.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but the market was always children, so Ash had to
I
remain
know.
a child.
The problem with Pokemon, however, is a very different one. It's such a like speedy process when they make new products and the new generation and everything. And with each generation, they actually have a new generation of children starting to watch it. You know, the other ones abandon it, and it keeps like coming back.
Yeah, but they could have done, especially when Max showed up, they could have done the continuity thing where Ash is a little older now. He meets Max. He wants to help Max do what he did. You know, and so Ash kind of takes on Brock's thing. That would have been cool.
They could have done that. I mean, yeah.
Instead, Ash has just been a dumb fuck for 14 years. He hasn't learned a thing.
Do you know? It's maybe better we didn't see Ash going through puberty or something like that. Would have been really awkward.
Ash Ketchum from Pallet Town.
We would have had to get a new voice
I'm
actor.
10 years old.
They could, you know, they could have brushed past that, you know, off screen, you know, between seasons. But yeah, and then the episode where Brock has to teach him about curls. And Ash is actually interested instead of just like, yeah, whatever, Brock, go moon over what's her face. I'm gonna go over here and fight my Pokemans.
God, I imagine it unfolding kind of like that scene in Final Fantasy IX where Zidane tries to explain to Vivi what it is to be a man, and he teaches him to piss into the wind. He teaches him to piss into the wind. He's like, you're going to be a man from today on, and then it's just a subtitle of Pinkle, 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 Pinkle.
I know.
Is the character called Vivi?
Yeah, he's the black mage.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a little black mage dude. I thought you were...
Yeah, he's so cute. I'm sorry, he's really cute.
Oh,
He
that
is.
thing.
He's the cute
Yeah.
one with
I remember
the
that.
wizard
Okay.
hat. Yeah,
I just thought it was just like a normal like man or something. His name is Vivi. Okay.
I love how you
I'm sorry,
called
I don't
him
know my
that
context.
thing. What the...
I remember we had like cooking class in school, and I made a cake topper in the form of Vivi. Like I dyed my marzipan different colours, and I made Vivi. It was great. I won a competition.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's
yeah, I won the
adorable.
class competition of who
Proud
makes
of
the
you.
most interesting cake topper. The teacher had no idea who he was, but she was like, "I like your little wizard. Kind of, is he a cat? Or is it? Where's his, he doesn't even have ears."
That's like when I was in
But
like, I think I was in
I-
like kindergarten and we were doing clay stuff and art and I made Toad.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yes.
But
God,
yeah,
now I want
really,
to.
I'm-
Now I miss Final Fantasy IX. I want to play that again now.
I've promised Red 5 I'll play through a Final Fantasy 4. We need to get a hold of it first. I don't know what one I should start with though, because the first Final Fantasy I ever played was 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played 7, and then 9 came out. I was actually staying with my gran at that point, and we went to the store, and I was like, "Oh my god, gran, that new game's out!" And she gave me some pocket money. I was able to get it. It was only like £20 at the time or something. It wasn't that expensive
Really?
for some reason. Yeah, I got it like for 20 or 25 or something. Usually they were like 30, 35, maybe even 40. And Final Fantasy 9 is not a small game. It has 3 discs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Final Fantasy 8 has 4 though. But hello, the disc art for Final
I
Fantasy.
think
like,
9 did have 4. One of them
did
did. It wasn't 3. 7. 7 only had 3.
No, 8 had 4.
Okay, yeah, because they went really cinematic with 8. That was it.
Yeah, 8 was beautiful. I'm sorry, but like even the disc art was absolutely stunning, and the official art is just so nicely rendered. And, yeah, I liked it.
It was a great looking game and it had a really good story, and I could not. It's been a while, and if I tried again, I probably could. But the way it opened with like pounding you with the information with the new battle system, it's like, all right, learn it. Did you learn it? Good,
It
get
does
out.
that. Every game is like that. They have to teach about summons because, to be honest, the GF system was actually kind of complicated, and you know, for someone that. For me, I was really young at the time, and for me it was quite complicated. And then you can choose what your GFs can learn, and then you can junction. Let's not forget that. And
Oh,
yeah,
God.
it's a lot.
And it's
to
like
take in.
it's like 7 was simplified, complicated. Like we had the materia system, and you could get by just knowing the basics about materia. But if you really knew what you were doing, you could do added effects with summons, and you know now you're immune to status effects, or now your normal attacks inflict death blow, and just you could get really into it if you knew what you were doing. But you could absolutely get by without it.
Yeah,
Where
the
like
same
Final
with the
Fantasy
name.
8, you kind of needed to know what you were doing, or you were going to get destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. That was a bit complicated. But 9 was a bit easier, and with 9 you could also really easily just chop and change depending on what boss fight you were struggling with.
Yeah, and that was that. I think the only real thing about 9 that bothered me was that trances were automatic. And so like if you were like the battle before the boss and your trance was active, you're just like screaming. He's like, great, I
Yeah.
could have used that in like literally 2 moves. Way to go, Zide. Now we're gonna die
I know,
14 times in
it's-
this boss.
Yeah, that was a bit annoying at times. It screwed me over a couple of times as well. I remember. I thought that was better in 8 when you had your limit break. You could like hold off you could hold it for a little bit longer.
Right, and in like 7, like you couldn't do basic attacks, but you could use other abilities and like skim by it, or you could just not attack with that character for a few turns until you're ready to use it. You could hold it as long as you wanted.
Do you know what I actually sometimes never understood though about 8 was sometimes I felt characters had a limit break at the most random time. Like, did I just not pick up on something, or when do limit breaks exactly happen?
I can't remember if there was a gauge was there a gauge in 8?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Because there was a gauge in 7. You could watch it fill, and like when you did attacks, it filled up a little, and if you took damage, depending on how much damage you took, it would fill up a lot. And you know, in 8 probably had some story point fights. That's like, all right, Squall's got to break right now because story, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, remember when he did that limit break when he like points his sword up to this guy and he goes all He-Man, there's a big beam that goes into space, and Jesus, or is that Cypher? I can't remember who did that now, but it was one of those moments where they were like,
I'll be honest, I didn't get that far into it. The first Final Fantasy I owned and played for myself was 10. And I enjoyed it, but fucking tied at Tita sometimes, I swear. That laughing scene, oh my god. And it's just like, it's hard to play a game where I'm just like, Tita, shut up, I want to listen to Waka talk for a while. Just go in the corner. Let me speak with the other characters for a while.
Oh, there was also that goddamn scene where they wanted to go to the the something temple, and then like somebody accidentally said, "Oh, the Macarena temple," and then Tita's was like, "Aye."
Oh, yeah, he did. He made the fucking Scooby noise.
Oh god, I just wanted to. You know, I played through that game out of spite. I was like, okay, it's Final Fantasy. I'm a Final Fantasy fan. I've played some of the older ones. I've played some of the newer ones. I'm gonna play the newest. Come on, let's go. And I hated myself for playing it. I hated it all the way through. I was like, oh,
and like God, what was it called? The level up system, the like sphere map or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah.
It was interesting, but it was also garbage.
Yeah.
I got all the way to the end. Like, I didn't get to the end, but you know where like I got to the first phase of the last boss and couldn't get past it. I think I got inside Sin once and was just immediately destroyed. And I'm like, I'm done with this. I've been playing this for a month and I'm done with it. And then I picked up 12, and I actually enjoyed 12 a good bit. It was different, but once I learned, and once I learned the again, they did the whole map thing where you can unlock different. You know, like the espers and the abilities and what weapons you can equip, and once I figured it out, it was fun. It really was. And then I played. Let's see, I got my PS3 and I bought 7, 8, and 9 on the store. Played through 7 up until it was past. It was close to the end. I didn't quite go to the Northern Crater. I think I was ready to, and I was fighting weapons, and the red. The emerald weapon and the ruby weapon kept wiping the floor with me, and I put it down for too long, you know. Played a lot of 9. I got to disc 3 on 9. I'm trying to remember exactly where I got. I know I got past. I got past the big tree, like towards the end, like after you pick up red hair dude and.
Oh, isn't that called the Leafa tree or something like that? The Leafa tree or something?
Yeah, and then the little girl gets captured by Kuja, I think. Yeah, she gets captured by... I don't know, I got to a point and I just couldn't beat a boss, and again I put it down, and then I realized I've been playing the entire fucking game wrong, because I've never stole from anything. At all, ever. So I'm like, I'm missing so much equipment. Oh my god, how did I get this far? No, it was in the temple where you have to... The shittier your weapon is, the better it is.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, why does it keep giving me wood shit? I don't want it. And I kept throwing it away and selling it. And I'm like, I can't do any. I was very power through games at that. I think I was like 17, and I didn't really think things through. And that's why when I picked up 8, I got like halfway through his seed exam and gave up.
Oh.
Like I got to a save point and I'm like, I'm done.
I think 9 is a really good one to start with because for me personally, I bonded with the characters more emotionally. Like 9 had me in tears at a couple of points, but I never felt as strongly about the characters in any of the other games.
Was it sad or funny?
It can be quite sad. Yeah, it can be really funny, but it can also
Fucking
be
Freya's story,
sad.
like for real.
Yeah,
like,
hello, like
I
that
know.
was.
And she's so hardcore and she's so underappreciated because, like, her entire, like, she shows up, her entire culture has been, you know, they've destroyed her capital, and she's like, oh, wait, there's hope. We go to the tree that's wrapped in a sandstorm because reasons. We get to the top of the tree. Everyone's safe. Here's Fratley. I've been looking for you. Fuck, my fiance remembers nothing about me, and now our tree has been destroyed. And then, like within an hour of that happening, she stands up and she's like, fuck it, and she gets shit done.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the end of that disc, Zidane is drunk because Garnet doesn't talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
I was just like,
yeah, I mean,
where is the love for Freya?
yeah, I love Freya, and I know that she has a really big fan base. Freya is so great. I love her. I think she may be my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked oh god, what was it? Blank.
Blank was fun. I liked him too.
The
And
entire
and
crew, the entire theater crew.
I know the
were
crew was
really
great, and I did really enjoy Zidane too because he was just such a fun little fuck. Always
Yeah.
groping, and you know he was up until the section where he mopes for like 6 hours. I was enjoying him, and then
Yeah,
he
gets.
gets
Well, I mean,
really
have you ever
depressed.
played it to the end? Because at the end he has this massive depression trip.
I can't. Was that before or after like the second arc
It's
really
like
starts?
right at the very end.
No, I
pretty
didn't
much.
quite get that far.
Because you go to the world where he's from and you find out more about who he is, what he is, his people and stuff, and it's actually pretty hardcore. And then he goes like into this massive depressive mode, and he tells Vivi to go away and stuff. And,
Oh, no.
yeah.
No.
He like totally takes his temper out on Vivi, and at that moment I was like, no, Zidane, what have you become?
And then like going back, I played a little bit of 1 and 2, like the Game Boy remake, and then I really
Yeah.
enjoyed the DS remakes of 3 and 4. I got to the moon in 4, and I can't remember. I got close to the end in 3. I don't know just how far, but like those were fun too for totally different reasons. But those were fun too. The being at the changing 3, the being able to mix and match classes. With your characters and things like that, you know, like all of the characters felt really versatile, and even because you only had 4, and even though you only had 4, you still felt like you had a lot of options at your fingertips. And then, God, 4 killed people like every other arc. Like every arc ended with someone dying.
Yeah, and you know the best thing about that was the music still wasn't the best of quality or anything, but there was more melody to it, and and when people died, and you would have like this sad music. God, you know, it's just.
And I actually went back and started over 4 recently, and I realized that they got Yuri Lowenthal to do all of Cecil's stuff. I'm like, oh God, Yuri, what won't you do?
I played through 3 and 4, or 2 and 4, I think, with my friend when I was in university. But actually, my first experience of one of the earlier Final Fantasies was in high school. Like, one of my friends, or like, he wasn't my friend, but I knew him, and we ended up talking about Final Fantasy, and he was like, yeah, I'm stuck at this part, and I was like, okay, I've never played any of the older Final Fantasies, but I have played through quite a lot of the new ones, and he hadn't played any of the new ones, so he was like, okay, well, you have more experience than me, can I give you my save card and the game, and you take this home and see if you can do anything with this boss. So he gave me his save card the next day along with the game. I went home, I put it in my PlayStation, and I looked in his inventory, and all he had to do was upgrade his weapons to something stronger.
Oh.
And I did that, like, because the first thing I do when I haven't played a Final Fantasy in a long time, or in this case at all, I went into the inventory to check out his characters and how they're equipped and stuff and what they can do. You know, I informed myself. And then I was like, God, his weapons, I'll change them over, see if there's anything better in his inventory. And he had everything better in his inventory. And then I kicked the boss's ass the first time. I brought it to him the next day, and I was like, dude, you need to make sure that you equip weapons and stuff, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Well done.
Just kind of gamer instinct, I guess.
I don't know. See, I don't really play RPGs or anything like that. So
Mass Effect's an RPG.
yeah, but like
turn-based.
Like,
yeah, like
there's nothing mandatory about upgrading a weapon or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh, well,
not
yeah.
after the first one. The first one is very much that. The first one very much has that. Like after that, they kind of phased that part out to make it a little more accessible, and it was hit and miss for me because you still had. It was 2 was annoying because every upgrade was like, this is obligatorily better, even though you might not like it.
Yeah.
And then
right.
you know with 3 they went back to everything is better. You can up it. You pick the one you like, and then you can make it better. Where first one you had like all of there were so I'd finished like I go to an uncharted world and when I leave I was breaking shit down and selling stuff because my inventory is full again because I've got all this new armor and the mods and the weapons and the weapon mods and different ammos and that kind of thing. Which I guess if you're playing on a low enough difficulty, it kind of doesn't mean anything. But I grinded the hell out of the first one. Like I've gotten all of the achievements except for finishing it on the 2 hardest difficulties. That's how much I played that game.
And you know, back to upgrading weapons and stuff. In the newer games, when you could, you know, when they were graphically better, I always found half the fun of upgrading your weapon was to see what it looked like.
Yeah. It's like cool.
But I
thing.
found that, you know, like in 9, sometimes the weapons just got so ridiculous. Like there's one weapon that Zidane can equip. It's one of those double-ended swords. I think it's like the butterfly sword or something.
Oh god, yes, that's what I was gonna
so
say.
Ridiculously
fucking
feminine.
butterfly sword.
It's like pink or something, and it looks so ridiculously feminine. Upgrading that, I was like, oh Jesus Christ!
And it's like, it's like a foot and a half taller than he is. So he's standing there with this thing, and I'm like, how are you using this?
Yeah, oh god, I know. Like, and the funny thing was in his character art and stuff, he always had like scraggly thin arms, and you're like, how can you lift anything?
With those giant stupid cufflinks.
What Final Fantasy would you be interested in? Like, if we could tell you a bit about it, right fast.
Well, to be honest, I would really like to play them myself. And just because I really like to see where things come from, I would love to play the very first and maybe work my way through. But there's so many that I think I'll have to just pick and choose whatever looks more interesting to me personally. I have to do my research, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd say between 1 and 2. Gameplay wise, not a lot changed, but 2 had more of a story, so you can kind of play 2 and get the feeling of 1 because a lot of the game itself was the same, and they focused more on the story. And then beyond that, each one had something unique to throw to the table. 5 was apparently a little underwhelming. 6 is great, and as the last of the retro ones, it's phenomenal. So like 6 is a must, I think. I'd recommend 4 for sure. Almost every other one for the retros, 2, 4, and 6 for sure. And you know, like if you enjoy 2, play 1. If you enjoy 4, maybe, or like if you enjoy having 4 characters and being able to do more with them, because like you'd go into an area and say this class is more effective. You'd pick one of your characters, they would be that class for a while, and they could. So you had like real versatility, and you know you kept your levels in each individual class. And after every time you got to a crystal, you got like 5, 6 more classes to play with. So that made 3 fun. 5 I never played a lot of. I started it at one point and just never really got into it. But 6 is really good. 6 has a really, really diverse cast. And it's that one's real fun. That's the one. I'm sure you've seen the thing of the man suplexing the train.
Maybe.
Just like this dude. It's like classic looking Final Fantasy, and they're being chased by a train. The dude turns around, grabs the train, goes off the top of the screen, comes back down. The train is upside down. Yeah, that's 6. That's 6.
Okay.
Suplexing a train.
Oh, you could do that with Zell in Final Fantasy VIII when he had his limit break, and you could like lift anything up into the sky and like slam it.
Those are some of my favorite parts about, you know, olden RPGs like that, where it wouldn't really take the enemy into account. So just I love that shit. I really do. And the more, like you said in 8, the more over the top the game looks to begin with, the more fun it is.
Yeah, it can be quite good. And comedy really from Final Fantasy is always good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. That whole like ha 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 kind of thing though.
Oh God.
Was that just in one game
that was
or?
that was just in one game, and that was
Yeah,
meant
that-
to be romantic actually, more so.
How's the
No.
Japanese version? Is it just as bad?
I don't know. I haven't checked.
Probably. Titus is very poorly written, honestly.
Oh, well, he was so annoying. It's like the first time in a Final Fantasy that I've disliked the main character.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, he's absolutely, you know, the rest of the characters I enjoyed, even though they were kind of stereotypical. You know, you've got.
Lulu's great.
I was gonna say I like Lulu. I like Waka because it's John DiMaggio. So you know, if he gets boring, just remember this man's going to be a bender in a year.
I cosplayed as Lulu once.
Really?
Yeah,
Cool,
I got
I
like
wish I
a
could've
dress
seen
from
that.
China. It was like relatively good quality, and I got like these chopsticks from some kind of like second-hand cosplay prop website where like other cosplayers sold their handmade items because they were never going to wear the same costume again. And I got these really well-made hair chopsticks. I still have them somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
And my hair at the time was like a dark kind of black plum color. And yeah, it worked out quite okay. Yeah, Final Fantasy is good fun. It gives you a lot of inspiration for other things like projects and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder actually. I really should start playing something like that.
Oh, but the thing is, like, you could also be artistically inspired. Like, if you play through a Final Fantasy, you might get more inspiration for your patron or something.
Or if you want a good thing to do is like if you're just kind of wanting to sit back and you still kind of want to play an RPG, but you don't want to be overwhelmed with the turn-basedness. The Paper Mario games are really good for that. Because they are turn-based, but they're active, like Mario and the Paper Mario and the Mario Luigi series. It's an active input instead of just alright attack. You know, you actually do like they call them action commands with the characters to do more damage and to defend. And if you're good enough in the second Paper Mario, you can actually do super guards, which is basically a counter to most attacks. And those are really fun. I love those two games, the first two Paper Marios.
I've actually never played Paper Mario, but I did play Mario and Luigi, the first one, the Superstar Saga.
Right.
Really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought the humor was just fantastic, and the dialogue and everything, and the gameplay was really good too.
I love those. And the
involved.
cool thing is now, the original Paper Mario, Superstar Saga, and Partners in Time, its sequel, they're all on Wii U, the store now. So,
Alright.
So, like, you know, if you wanted to pick up Partners in Time, but you didn't want to have to look for a DS card, or if you wanted to play it, you know, God knows you're not going to be able to track down the Paper Mario cartridge now if you don't have one, and you can just play it on the Wii U. That's the way I played it last time. And then Partners in Time, you can just play it on the pad, you know.
Alright.
But that's an idea, you know, if you ever get those itches. It's right there, and they're you know, really, especially considering, like I said, to track down a cartridge of Paper Mario and N64, and then all of the stuff, if you don't have it, would be ridiculous when you can just shell out $15-$20.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that. I actually repaid for it because I never paid for it to begin with. I borrowed someone's, and they're like, you can just keep it.
Mario's always alright with me. I always love Mario games, you know, even if they're kind of mediocre. I always enjoy that, you know. I enjoy that world and everything, so that's good. You know, you got to be interested in that as well. Like at least for me, that's very important. Like, do I like the world? Do I like the, you know, fictional universe that is created for this thing? That's why I have to do my research for Final Fantasy and see like what exactly do I really like. But like gameplay wise, yeah, I totally got you. Like, see which one I should go for. Maybe I'll actually start playing 2. I'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most pure formula, you know.
Oh, I'm chewing. Sorry.
I was actually I never had physical copies of Final Fantasy 8 and 7 because they actually belonged to my brother when I played them, and then he sold them.
Oh no.
And then yeah, I know. So, but they were his games, you know. I couldn't do anything against it.
Yeah.
And then, like years later, I was working in a restaurant during my time at university and everything, and I worked every weekend there for 3 years. And one of my co-workers was leaving, and he was like, "Oh, I'm also moving house, Redeemers, and I need to get rid of a lot of stuff, and I don't play any of my games anymore. Do you want any of my old PlayStation games?" And I was like, "Oh my god, what do you have?" And he was like, oh yeah, I have this Final Fantasy, that Final Fantasy, you can have any of them, like, I really need to get rid of them before I move house and everything. And I was like, okay, fine. And the Final Fantasy 7 and 8 were there.
Nice.
And I got them for nothing.
You still have them?
Yeah, still have them.
Awesome. Okay.
Sort of an interesting place to go from there. The remake of 7.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the last we've heard about it. I'd probably have to look some stuff up. But I'm liking the way it's being displayed. Cloud looks like he's not quite Advent Cloud, which always bothered me because he sort of gains his own personality through 7, and then they kind of threw that away for Advent Children, and I'm just like, why? But the intro,
Advent Children, he was a bit weird.
Mm-hmm. But like what I've seen of the gameplay to begin with, and what the scene that sold it to me is if you know the story to Final Fantasy VII, if you don't, I'm not going to spoil everything. But in the beginning of it, Cloud is really emancipated. Like he's really thin and weak, and there's really no way he should be wielding that sword, but he is. And there's a scene where he's facing one enemy and he turns to another one, and he has to move his whole body before he can swing that sword. And I'm like, that is the attention to detail I'm looking for in things like this. If we're gonna go back to it, do it good. And just him like, you see him for a second, he doesn't really show it in his face, but you can tell he's struggling with this thing.
Yeah.
Because he's so emancipated at that point because of story. And just like, you know, I'm eager to see what they'll do with it. I've heard that it may be episodic. And the only part of that bothers me is how they're going to break it up and how they're going to go with pricing.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say.
Like my original thought was, like, if they did it by disc and each disc was $20-$25, I can live with that. I can, even up to $30, honestly, because of the amount of production value that's going into it. But at the same time, you're also paying for sort of an old game. Well, you're paying for an old story, but they really are revamping the game. So I don't know, I'm really on the fence about it, but if it's in like 5 parts and they're all $60, Square Enix can go shove that up their ass.
Yeah, like especially because it's an old game that you're playing, you know.
Because I've heard it both ways. Some people are saying it's going to be by the disc. Some people are saying that part 1 is just going to be Midgar, which I'm okay with that because Midgar is like a 4-hour thing, and that's if you know what you're doing. The prologue takes forever.
Would you then pay $30 for the Midgar section, which you know is about 4 hours?
No. 15, 20 tops. Depending on how good the gameplay looks. If I'm going to enjoy it a lot and probably play it 1 or 2 times just to enjoy it until the next part comes out. And that's another thing. How much time are we talking about between releases? Because if it's more than 2 months, I lose interest really quick. Also, would they throw the idea of a season pass thing? Because I would, if depending on how many parts it's going to be, I think I'd pay tops around $80 for the complete kit if it's going to be in parts, you know. And throwing a season pass up for $60-$70 would be, you know, and then you get all of the games as they come out, you know, as long as. But like I was saying, if I'm out of a game for like 2 months, I'm gonna have to start it over because I don't remember where I was. I don't remember where my characters are. Are character levels going to carry between games, or do you just have a starting point? Are they going to keep the materia system as far as the amount of, you know, how much you can put into it? There's just so much up in the air right now, and it is still really early because I think they basically churned out the trailer and had just started development when they announced it at E3 last year. It's not something they've been working on. They've been upfront about that. No, we're not doing Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're not doing Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then, you know, last E3, they're like, hi, Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then and through interviews, we find out that it's been in development maybe 2 months. So you're looking at a little over a year right now, and you see the trailers and the amount of work they're putting into it. It'll be Christmas before we see part 1 for sure. And depending on how far ahead they're working the release, this may be going on for 2 or 3 years, and I just don't know if that's going to be healthy for it.
Yeah. Also, isn't there supposed to be a completely new game coming out at some point too?
15, I think. I think they're fixing to release 15.
I remember there was like a tweet or something where the team was going around taking pictures of big rocks so they can integrate them into the game.
Okay. I don't remember. I missed that one. And then they just released Explorers, which is sort of like Crystal Chronicles, and I've heard mixed reviews on that. I've heard that it's an interesting concept, but the combat is boring.
Okay.
Like it's just running around and pressing the A button a lot, and because like, did either of you ever play Crystal Chronicles?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, that one was. I enjoyed that. I always wished I had more people to play that with. It was just such a hassle to play it with 4 people though, because you had to have Game Boy Advances and cables, and it was an act of Congress to play that game with more than one person.
Wasn't that wait? If that's was that not on the GameCube as well?
Yeah, the GameCube was the original one, and then they had a DS version, Ring of Fates, a spiritual sequel. I think there was one on the Wii too, but it was just like Final Fantasy. Like it was just a story. It was like regular Final Fantasy, but it was supposed to be in Crystal Chronicles universe, but it wasn't really the same gameplay. And I remember reading about it once and then never seeing anything on it ever again. So I don't think that one went over well.
What about Final Fantasy Online? Does anyone still play that?
I never got into it. My roommate plays it a lot, but he's into like he plays a lot of Warframe online with his friends. There's a recent remaking of Phantasy Star Online that's up, and he plays a lot of that with his friends. He plays a lot of League. I've looked at it once or twice, and it looks kind of interesting because it again does the things where you can it's unlike most typical MMOs like that where you're locked into a class choice. You can change freely with no real penalty, and you don't have to pay real money to do it, and you keep your level and stuff like that. So it's encouraging you to find a party and fill the spot they need. And it's always kind of interested me, but like I work 48 hours a week. I just don't have time to put into that. And our schedules are different, so like he's asleep 9 times out of 10 when I get home from work. So if I'm gonna play it, I want to play it with someone who knows what they're doing, but isn't gonna be overbearing about it. And Brandon's like that. He's really knowledgeable, but he's not like one of these people that's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Fucking get your shit together."
Yeah.
So it's easy to play things with him. Other than that, I know 11. There was 11. I think 11 was the online one, and then there was, I think 14 was an online one. I think there were 2.
Is that the one with Lightning Returns?
No, that's 13. Then that's
right.
That's 13 is Lightning, and that one's Final Hallway, basically. 13 was really fucking pretty. It had an interesting battle system, and the story was pretty good, but it was so fucking linear. It was so linear. It was literally hallways. It was hallways, boss fight, cutscene, hallway, boss fight, cutscene. 13 hours in, you get sort of a field that branches out and then funnels you back into another hallway, boss fight, cutscene.
Oh, man.
And then they'll like earn your summons. You've got like really specific things you have to do to beat the summon. So it's like, try something, do it wrong, die, watch the cutscene again. Try something else, do it wrong, die, watch the cutscene again, because each character had their own summon and they had to beat it by themselves. So then you get up to one of the characters you don't give 2 shits about, and you have done nothing with them, and now they have to beat an Esper. And the worst one was like the little kid Hope, who had Alexander, who was in this particular he was basically a moving fortress. And I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do with this thing? This kid fights with a boomerang. I am assaulting a fortress with a boomerang. There's a time limit. What am I supposed to do with this?
It's pretty weird.
And then there was 13.2, which was about Lightning Sister, and then 13.3, which was Lightning Returns, because Japan has the biggest boner for Lightning for some reason.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, I get it. She's kind of cool, and her design is neat, but at the end of the day, she's just a really pissed off person, and I don't know if I would want to expose myself to that for extended periods of time.
She's basically Squall with pink hair.
She is. She's so goddamn moody.
You don't know what I mean. You'll have to play 8 to know what I mean.
Yeah, I see.
But yeah, like even in the face, like they have the same face. You just swap their hairstyles.
Pretty much.
Isn't that a typical problem with some of these things anyway? come on.
And like my favorite thing is like with some of the new ones, it's like, welcome to Final Fantasy, where we're gonna play. Is it a boy or a girl?
Oh no!
Oh,
Don't get me started on that. That's one of the things.
One of the things, I showed Red 5 a picture of Advent Children Cloud, and he was like, "Alright, is that, and he couldn't think of a character name, and he was like, wait, is that a guy or a girl? Sorry."
I know, and like the little boy from Advent Children, I'm like, what is this? This is gender. This is gender neutral child implant. This is who the characters, the person watching is supposed to identify with. I guess there's not enough there for him to have his own character, so we're obviously supposed to identify with him. And
Okay.
Oh, his name was Denzel. That was so
Denzel.
weird.
That was
I
it.
remember that, actually. Yeah, Denzel.
Okay.
There's a bit when like Tifa gets knocked out, and he loves Tifa. She's like his kind of surrogate, like mother.
yeah,
Oh no!
And then he's like, "You son of a bitch!"
I know. And I was like,
son
oh,
of a bitch!
I'm like,
So
geez,
you're
chill,
like, "Whoa."
Denzel. That much emotion might break your processor. But I loved the Turks in that movie. Reno and what is his name? Rude. Reno and Rude are the best. I'll watch that movie again just for Reno and Rude. I love those
that
two.
scene where Reno gets some. Do you know that I named my cat after that character? I had my cat Reno. And,
I remember Reno.
Oh yeah, and but yeah, that scene where Reno gets himself like shut out of the house or whatever, and you've got Rude who's like a total badass, and oh god, it's just so cool. Rude kind of looks like Hitman, Red 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Agent 47.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And he's always wearing
I like
sunglasses. There's a part in the movie where his sunglasses break, and he's like really upset about that, and then he just pulls out another pair. So he keeps backups.
Who was that guy? It was like one of the parts of Sephiroth. He walks into the church and he sees that it's full of like pretty flowers and everything, and he was like, gross.
Yeah. One of the
That's good.
I cannot remember his name, but yeah, it was one of the three that were trying to revive Sephiroth, and then they did the thing where he has this giant fight scene with Tifa, and Tifa beats him up and buries him in rubble, and then you hear like the victory tune start playing, and it's the bad guy's cell phone.
Oh, I know. It's
What?
So good. It's really good. It's really good. Do you know what?
But that's so violent. I don't play violent games like that.
Listen. I do you know, it's so weird we're talking about this, because for the past, 3 months or so, every now and then, like every few days, I'll say to Red 5, have we watched Advent Children together? No, we should really do that soon. Like, it's really good.
You know what? The funny thing is, this is like the third Blabber bunch we're talking about Final Fantasy, and I still haven't played
There's
it.
a lot to talk about. Holy shit, I could
Alright.
talk about Final Fantasy until I'm like out of air. I love.
Advent Children would be a good one for y'all to do y'all's movie thing too that y'all started.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, actually.
Alright.
Actually,
You know what? I might
no,
get
well, the
into,
thing is,
like-
no, I'd like to watch it first, because when we're doing that, we don't listen to dialogue or anything that
Right.
much.
Yeah,
We
like
pay
show it to
attention.
him once and then go back and talk over it as you remember things
Yeah,
from
the
the
thing
watching.
is, like, usually we haven't watched the movie we're wanting to talk about, so we go into it kind of blind, and yeah, we can understand the dialogue and everything. We can like listen to the movie as we're talking, but for his first experience of Advent Children, I would like it if he would just watch it as a movie and not
Yeah.
as something to be reviewed, because the movie is so enjoyable, and I feel that if we review it first and talk over it the whole time, it's going to destroy your experience. I want you to experience it properly.
It'll also be interesting for him. Like, you don't really know the story for Final Fantasy VII, do you?
I don't know anything.
Well, I wanted to explain it to him, but at the same time I didn't want to spoil it. But like,
Yeah.
I think he probably knows from like various memes and stuff anyway. Like, Aerith is a total
No,
meme
I'm
herself.
good. No, I'm really good. I didn't even know the ending to Arkham Knight, even though everyone knows. I don't really surf the internet that much. Like, I don't know anything.
Yeah, well, that's a problem then, because there's a character featured in Advent Children who is actually more so a ghost, and they are present in the game.
Okay.
And you need to like love them first in the game.
Do I have to love them first?
You have to love. Yeah, you have to love them. Yeah.
I know.
You're gonna hate them, but after they're dead, you're gonna love them.
Like, I can't.
Like, was that also your experience, Nick? Like, you found that character like really annoying all the way through the game, and then they die, and you're like, oh no!
Yeah.
How can you?
What have I done? That was my bad thinking that brought this on. This bad karma, man.
But then, like, Cloud's breakdown to that is just it walks the line between, okay, Cloud's having emotions. He obviously doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, but do you know, I was really young when I played Final Fantasy VII, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to the part, like, I was playing through it, and I found the game relatively difficult because I was really young. Like I said, it was My first Final Fantasy was 8, and after that was 7. I was still very, very young, like, I don't know, 11, 12, and I only had 8 as a Final Fantasy experience, so adjusting to 7 was something completely new. I found the game relatively tough, so I struggled all the way through the game.
Yeah.
And then I got to the part, remember I was really young, I got to the part where Cloud is like a complete vegetable in a wheelchair, basically.
What?
And I was so disturbed. Like, listen, I can talk about this right now, Red 5, because you're going to forget about it when you play the game, and then, like it's one of those things where it's always going to get you, whether you know about it or not. I found that so disturbing, the entire thing. Like, just seeing Cloud in that situation, I was just like, oh, God, what am I actually playing? Am I still playing the game that you know, because the game earlier was a completely different atmosphere, and then shit really hits the fan, and shit happens to Cloud, and you're like, God.
But it's important that you experience him like that, because that thing is why he's like that in the beginning of the game. That's why it's, you know, stuff like that. It's important that you experience what that particular thing does to a person, because then you understand why he's Cloud.
That's what made it so hard to watch. Like, you just, I don't know, I really suffered with Cloud at that point. Like, I was actually, like, playing the game was, I enjoyed it still, but it was a chore, because I knew that Cloud was like a piece of shit right now, and he couldn't do anything. And I was like, oh God, this is so awful to watch. This is so hard to watch. Poor Cloud.
And then poor Tifa just stressing over him.
Yeah. And only for everything to be, you know, like, things don't end the way she wants them to either. So, like, you're kind of like, she'll do anything for him, but at the same time, he's not really that interested. Yeah, it's sad.
Alright, guys, we don't have a lot of time, but real quick, before we end this, if you could have any of the Final Fantasy characters as your waifu, like in Final Fantasy, what? Fire Emblem Fates. Who would you choose? Who would you blow in your 3DS for?
Nick, you can go first.
I was gonna say you go first.
No time to think.
Oh God. Honest answer. I really like Freya. I do. I want to take care of her.
Yeah, I know.
She doesn't need it, but I want to.
Okay, good, valid. What about you?
Do you mean husbando with me, or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter. I don't judge.
Okay, let me think. I need to go through all the characters that I really like.
Here we go.
I know we don't have much time, but this is. Do you realise the sheer level of question you just asked me?
Oh.
I have to make a choice.
It's like 400 plus hours worth of character development you're asking her to choose from.
Okay.
I think I don't know, if I had to be stuck with any character, I would choose the funniest character, so at least I would always be not sick of their personality, because let's face it, there's a lot of characters in Final Fantasy where they just enrage you the whole time because they're really moody or they're really stupid.
Vincent, unfortunately.
Personality wise bearable, I think Zell from Final Fantasy VIII. I found him hilarious.
Okay.
He was really funny. Waifu? I'm gonna go. Waifu, I would say, I think also Freya.
Good. We can fight over.
Okay, great.
Or even Selphie from Final Fantasy VIII. She was really cute as well. She was really kind of also funny. She had me laughing. And also very annoyed. I don't know, she annoyed me a lot, but she made me laugh too.
Like you said, the one to be stuck with, I'd probably pick Reno. I really enjoyed Reno, especially just knowing he's Quentin Flynn. You know. Yep.
And his hair was cool.
Yes.
All right, I'm just gonna go to Google after this and look up the characters you were talking about.
Yeah, so you can sit and be jealous.
Okay. Also, look up Hope and tell me what. Look up. Just type in Hope Final Fantasy 13. And
I can tell all about that. I've played 13.
What I'm saying is, I want him to tell me if he thinks that's a boy or not.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna do that right after this. Right. Okay. Right. Thank you very much for listening, people. Thank you very much for being with us today, Nick.
Absolutely.
And hope we're gonna talk about everything we want to talk about next time.
Yes.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.